What's up, YouTube? You know who it is. It's your boy Mims, and I'm coming at you guys with a very exclusive special video that, normally you won't see it on my channel, but I think I'm going to start doing it if this gets a lot of positive feedback. So right here, this week is one of the most intense and probably one of the greatest pay-per-views we've ever seen, or we are going to see ever in the UFC. Very overhyped, and a match that just everyone wants to see. UFC 145, featuring a great championship match between Jon Bones Jones and Sugar Rashad Evans. And let me just provide some background to the story. If you guys have been away from MMA for a while, or you don't know what's going on, allow me to clarify. It all started from a while ago when Jon Bones Jones came into the MMA, into UFC, and we'll go from way back in 2009 when he won his third straight UFC victory over Jake O'Brien. Jon Bones Jones wanted to bring his training to the next level, and in August of that year he joined the Greg Jackson camp, home of many top-level mixed martial artists, including George St. Pierre and, at that time, Rashad Evans. So Rashad Evans was already sitting at the top of the light heavyweight rankings just after losing his belt to Lyoto Machida. Even though his only fight as champion ended with a harsh knockout loss, he was never particularly far from the top contender spot. So meanwhile, Jon Bones Jones was rising the ranks in a very rapid manner, very rapid speed, becoming better and better, and he was about to approach superstardom. And the reason why is his very popular style, with his very unorthodox striking. We all know the very signature spinning back fist, spinning elbow. And when such news hit that Jones was going to join Greg Jackson, some questions popped up regarding how everyone could fit in together. So at the time, things weren't really that bad or contentious. Evans already shared the Jackson camp with Keith Jardine, who was really a high-tier light heavyweight. And the two share what is possibly, maybe, perhaps the closest relationship that two top-level fighters have ever shared. When it came to Jones, though, Evans claimed that he was not really open to the idea of adding another star light heavyweight. Jones was brought in, and he even said Jones was brought in against my wishes. And that's a Rashad Evans quote. Greg Jackson, however, denies this at all. Regardless, when the two began training together, they seemingly became fast friends, with many pictures taken showing how close they had grown together. The two also continue winning. Rashad put together back-to-back wins over Thiago Silva and Quinton Rampage Jackson, and he was in line for another shot at the title against then-champion Mauricio Shogun Ua. Jones, meanwhile, had his own winning streak. He lost his first bout, even though if he lost his first bout to Matt Hamill, are we really going to count that? It was a referee technicality, for too many elbow strikes or something. And then he proceeded to follow this loss with a devastating TKO to Brandon Vera, who also Brandon James firstly defeated in his UFC debut, but that's not important, although it kind of is. Then a quick TKO of Vladimir Matyushenko. Then a convincing victory over the previously unbeaten, snapping his win streak, Ryan Darth Bader at UFC 126. Fans were shocked when during his post-fight interview after beating Ryan Bader, it was revealed that Rashad Evans had injured his knee and he would not be able to face Rua at UFC 128. Jones was then offered the opportunity to fill in for Rashad Evans, and instantly accepted. And this is when Jon Bones Jones became the household name in martial arts, mixed martial arts. Everyone, it would be Kobe Bryant or LeBron James for basketball. Then it would be Sidney Crosby or Alexander Ovechkin for NHL. Then it would be Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady for football, and then it would be John Bones Jones for UFC. And afterwards, we all know Jones won his fight. He became champion, and afterwards, after he became champion, Rashad Evans still got his title shot. You know, he still has to fight, so he's fighting John Bones Jones. In the build-up to it, Jones was fielding questions and was asked if he was willing to face Rashad Evans. Should Joe Silva, the matchmaker, match them against each other? Jones replied that he would be open to this matchup. While this news did not make huge headlines, it pissed off Evans in a profound way. It continued to cause chaos between both of them when Jones stated, "I absolutely hate when people mention Rashad Evans," during a UFC 128 conference call. The air of hostility in the Jackson camp was starting to become noticeable, and it was starting to become popular. Jones went on to beat Rua with almost scary ease, like I mentioned before, and Evans was brought into the cage after Jones was given his championship belt and was announced to be his next opponent. He walked out of the cage and started an interview where he just straight up said, "I'm done with Greg Jackson's gym." The tension was clear, and there was not a single MMA fan out there that did not know the whole story behind Evans and his former best friend or friend, John Bones Jones. Though there were signs that this was coming, it still surprised many people. Evans was with Greg Jackson since 2005 after winning the second season of The Ultimate Fighter, and that ultimately led him to becoming light heavyweight champion in 2008. Evans helped make Jackson one of the most sought after coaches in the sport. Now the two were in an ugly public bridge burning position. Evans' criticisms of Jackson were frequent and touched on many different subjects. He said he openly resisted Jones joining the camp. He said that Jackson demonstrated a complete lack of foresight in training a top contender alongside a top prospect. He said that the two of them were growing distant both as a friend and mentor. He said that the camp as a whole was too big and had too many members to give fighters the individual attention they deserve. Worst of all, he said that with Jackson's refusal to corner him in a fight against Jones, he was not dependable enough as a coach. And that part I kind of agree with. I'm not going to lie. If your coach isn't going to corner you, you brought him into fame and everything, you know, I kind of see where Rashad's coming from. While even if Rashad's gripes with Jackson were largely professional, he attacked Jones on a personal level. It started off slowly when Evans was simply referring to the situation as awkward when he made the initial statement that he was leaving his longtime camp. This was followed, however, with talk that Jones and Evans got testy with each other in a Las Vegas nightclub, though initial reports suggested that the altercation was physical or near physical. Evans later claimed that Jones talked smack, then left without incident. Jones has yet to comment on it, so we all know it's kind of true. Shortly after this came a controversy over Rashad Evans sending text messages to Jones claiming he was a fake-ass white boy. Excuse my language, but I'm just quoting it. Evans denied he sent the messages, but Jones presented his cell phone to media members and confirmed his claim. Evans then admitted he sent the messages amidst a lengthy argument and in turn criticized Jones' maturity level, basically accusing Jones of tattling. It's like first grade up in here. All these rumors and headlines provided a great deal of interest for their fight, and Jones pulled out of what was to be his first title defense at UFC 133. This was supposed to be fought earlier in 2011, and it's being fought now. Evans was then matched against Phil Davis, who was later replaced with Tito Ortiz. Questions began popping up around Jones' injury. Shortly after, Evans was no longer available as an opponent. He declared that his injury was not as severe as initially thought, and he would be able to fight immediately. He was then quickly matched against Rampage Jackson, who Evans had beaten the previous year. Evans defeated Ortiz handily and remained the top contender. Jones defeated Jackson handily and remained the champion. The two were once again to face each other, this time at UFC 140. The fight, like the one before it, did not come to pass. Evans backpedaled and said he was unable to get medical clearance due to a thumb injury that would require surgery. Jones began an offensive just as bitter as anything Evans had said at that point. He started by saying that Evans was never my friend and is in fact a jealous snake. Evans and Jones had a back and forth regarding individual sparring and grappling sessions, with both claiming that they never had the number of the other. This was followed by claims from Jones and Evans ducking each other, and he went on to say that Evans made a foolish PR play by trying to force a fight on short notice and should not be regarded as top contender after spending a full year bench between his bouts with Quinton Jackson and Tito Ortiz. The UFC, needing a headline for 140, ended up having Jones fight former champion Lyoto Machida, who he would make tap out in the second round. The UFC, needing a huge headline for fights early in 2012 due to injuries to their star players, Anderson Silva, Junior Dos Santos, George St. Pierre, and the retirement of Brock Lesnar, went to schedule Jones' next title defense for UFC 145, and they said Evans would finally get his fight if he could beat Phil Davis at UFC on Fox 2, and if he could, of course, avoid any injury. Beating Davis, who was 9-0 at the time, was already a very tough task to do. Evans beat Davis easily, like it was nothing, and avoided injury, bringing up the latest part of this rivalry. So even Evans and Jones are enemies now for a variety of reasons that I just mentioned, it does not mean the two will not come to an understanding after their fight. And with both fighters sitting atop the divisions, do not discount the possibility that the two may fight again. Now on to the actual fighting part of this. Who do I think is going to win? I really don't think Jones' striking is going to help him in this fight, because for one, you have to take into account Jon Jones is nearly 6'5", he's 6'4", exactly, and Rashad Evans is 5'10". Obviously, that would give Jon Jones the reach advantage. Also, Rashad Evans has amazing takedown and ground and pound. If he was to take this fight to the ground, I think he would easily get the TKO or KO. And that's what Jon Jones has to watch out for. Even if Jon Jones is the favorite, I have to go with Rashad Evans, and I do want to go with Rashad Evans, mainly because I don't think Jon Jones is the monster that everyone's making him out to be. At the end of the day, I think Rashad Evans will have this belt because Jon Jones' main advantage would be striking, and Rashad Evans could take care of that easily. And at the end, I'm looking to see a TKO or knockout in the end of the third round, beginning of the fourth round-ish. And if Jon Jones does win, I wouldn't be surprised. I think any fighter could take it over here. We'll see their game plan. We'll see. Of course, Rashad Evans has the better cardio, has been through championship fights, so he knows this kind of background. He knows this is kind of his playground over here, and I honestly will have to give this one to Rashad. But anyways, you guys, post your fighter predictions for UFC 145, and no matter what, I'm gonna tell you guys for a fact, we're in for an amazing fight with a great storyline, and I'm looking forward to Saturday night. Anyways, you guys, it's your boy Mims signing out. If you like this video, please go ahead, thumbs this up, and post your predictions in the comment section, and a thumbs up would be nice. Besides that, I'm your boy Mims, and I'll hit you guys up on Saturday night. Peace.